Hey guys, so welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Sierra. I am the owner of Holistically Attuned. I run a spiritual business, and this channel is really about the development of spirituality. And through this development, you guys get to really witness my practice in a sense, which hopefully provides clarity for your practice. And so I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about finding and following spirit, not even just finding, but following spirit, and paying attention to that voice inside. A lot of times we're called to do certain things. Call to action is what you would see it on Instagram, right? But we really need to understand how to navigate our call to action from spirit. And I think that where a lot of people get confused is they will hear this message in their head, this divine channel, and not really recognize that it's a channeled message. They might just think like it's themselves trying to talk themselves out of something, or I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to know what you may believe it is. I know a lot of times, for me, I know that in the beginning, it was like a deep yearning or a wanting. And that wanting would be what I would hear in my head. Like, I want to do this, or things that would coincide with my wanting to do certain things. And so my message now is really patience, solitude, and just kind of being still for a second, stilling the waters, allowing everything to go quiet, to go silent, so that I can focus very clearly on whatever it is that is about to unfold for me. A lot of times we end up rushing to do things. We're rushing, right? So if we want to take on a spiritual practice, we're rushing to find people to teach it to us. We're rushing to find teachers. We're rushing to, buy 101 books on the subject, but not read any of them. We're rushing to YouTube. We're rushing to Instagram. We're rushing to all of these places, not realizing that a lot of what we're searching for, we already possess. We just have to learn how to fine tune and listen. I know that for me personally, a lot of times when I'm doing my workings, or for myself or for a client, sometimes I will find myself doing things that I hadn't done before. But it feels so familiar when I'm doing it. It just feels right. Like my hands are almost being guided by spirit in that moment. And I always think that that's so amazing, because it's like it's embedded in my DNA. It's embedded in my spirit. It's embedded in my soul. And I, just like everybody else, I just had to learn to trust that. Our ego wants us to think that we made it up or we don't know what we're doing, right? Because our ego really runs out of fear. Above all else, understand this: your ego is a product of fear. That's what feeds it. And so we are fearful that we don't know these things, or it's not, being done correctly, whatever the case may be. But my thing is, go with it and see where it leads you. Stop rushing to get from point A to point B, because all you're going to end up doing is backtracking. I feel like, so my spiritual practice is hoodoo. That is where I'm at. That is a day-to-day practice of mine. There's not a day that goes by that I am not implementing the aspects of hoodoo within my life, my traditions, my family. And I know a lot of people in the Black culture, even subconsciously without knowing it, are implementing these things in daily living. And it's things that you just saw your great grandmother do, and so you carried it on, not realizing where the roots of that come from. If you guys want to hear anything about certain aspects of hoodoo, please let me know in the comment box, and I will come back with a video on that, within guidelines, within respect, right? So I feel like in your spiritual practice, whatever that may be, don't rush to the finish line, because what are you rushing for? Who do you think you're going to meet when you're there? One of the biggest parts about your spiritual journey is meeting yourself, understanding who you are. And I think that the concept in spirituality of not giving things enough time to develop and grow, to not cultivate it with love and respect, is why there's so many people who are very just, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's like the new wave. People think it's a wave, right? You take a little bit of this, you take a little bit of that, and you throw it in the pot, and then you do what you want with it. While I do believe that in the craft, you have to put your own spin on things. Like, you have to personalize it. You have to make it your own. I still believe that traditionally you should respect certain guidelines. And I feel that it would be hard to respect certain guidelines if you don't take a chance to truly understand them. I don't mean like the baseline, superficial, what you're learning, from watching a 3-minute video or from clips on Instagram. I mean like really taking the time to learn. Practices like hoodoo are in the culture generally a oral transmission of knowledge. So yeah, you can find a lot of books out there. But not all of them will be accurate. Some of them will have teachings from somebody who is going around observing for the purpose of writing a book. And there are some who are initiated members of an African traditional religion who actually practice this on a day-to-day basis, and so they understand it and they know, and it's come down, from family or from elders. It's come down. Don't think just because your family is not actively meaning knowingly practicing hoodoo, that means that you cannot. That's why there are elders in the community that be willing to give you a lot of information. But take the time to learn. I think that, and part of the reason why I've been away is because I did a program to become an Ayurvedic practitioner. And Ayurveda is a medicine from India. It's one of the oldest forms of science and medicine for healing the body through herbs and spirituality. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years. And it is such a beautiful practice. Understand me, it is such a beautiful practice. But now that I'm out and able to really devote my time back into my store and back into my desires, myself, to sit with myself and reevaluate what I want and where I'm going. What I can tell you is practicing within the culture surrounded by Ayurveda, all it did was really push me further into my own cultural healing system. And for Black people, Black America, that really does come down to hoodoo or voodoo, Ifa, all of these practices from Africa. So here's the thing. Here's what I've really been sitting with. The practice of Ayurveda, there's text on it. Not a lot, but there are well, let me take that back. The traditional text is there. And then there are people who are actively creating so that we have this content, okay? It is no it was at one point very much like African traditional religion in the aspect that it was an oral tradition. It was passed down orally. But now, through perseverance and everything, they were able to implement that and bring it over and put it in some colleges and form their own colleges and form a board centered around Ayurveda medicine, which is beautiful. It's totally beautiful. Prior to studying Ayurveda, though, I was already working with herbs, and I was doing it from a an African medicine, holistic medicine system. Um, the reason why I went into Ayurveda is because I felt like I was looking to have something. I was looking to have a formal education, not just what I've attained on my own through books and things like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, understand me, but I felt like I could learn something, and I did, and I'm grateful for it. But what it makes me want, what it makes me really yearn for, is to have this type of wealth and accessibility of this knowledge from a African cultural perspective with an African medicine, an African holistic medicine. And what I've noticed in comparison, because right, I've studied one, I've studied the other, is that there's a lot of similarities in the way that they practice. It's just different herbs because they're using herbs that originate in their continent, that are available to them. But the concept of using bitter, astringent, heating herbs, things like that, sweetening herbs to get rid of certain diseases in the body is the exact same. And I feel like even more so, that kind of pushed me into that aspect of slowing down and appreciating what you're working with and cultivating what you're working with. Sometimes we look for things in other places, and we again have that knowledge and we have that information. Again, I don't regret going. I love what I do. I love having this knowledge. I got so much from it. But yeah, the concept remains that you do have to trust yourself and your journey. Um, so yeah, that's me right now. I was trying to see if Spirit had anything else they wanted to come through and say. Um, for all of you who kind of buy books but don't read them, just to touch bases on that a little bit. You don't need 300 books on the same thing if you haven't read one yet. You don't need 5 books on the same thing if you haven't read your first book. Really take the time to read it. Sometimes, again, what you're searching for, you'll see something on Instagram. I've had students come to me and be like, yeah, I saw this on Instagram. Can you explain it to me? And then I'm like, well, do you have X, Y, and Z that I recommended to you? And they'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, turn to page whatever. And boom, there it is right there on paper. And to me, that just lets me know you're looking for something quick, fast, and in a hurry, as opposed to actually doing the research. Like, I gave you tools. Utilize these tools. I think part of this too, this energy of patience comes into play because prior to doing schooling for the Ayurveda, which took 2 years, I was contemplating heavy on initiating in African traditional religion. And I feel as though I would hear a lot like, you don't have to make any rush decisions, just be around it, learn about it, all of that stuff. And I can't tell you why, but the energy surrounding that hits me so hard today as opposed to 2 or 3 years ago when I was looking to initiate. And I think that there's a reason for everything, right? And so there's this growth process that I had to go through in order to really be like, for sure, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm giving myself over fully. And I think at the time, I thought that I was giving myself over fully. But now I know in this moment, I want to give myself fully and completely into, um, it's not even the tradition, it's this way of living, it's this understanding of your roots and things like that on a deeper level. It's very hard to explain because I don't want to give the perception that I'm not already deep within. But it's just like the things you have to shed in order to say I give myself completely are the things surrounded by the ego and the fear. Those are the things that keep you from giving yourself fully and completely, even when you think you are. You're really not until you've released the fear, not until you've released, and it might not even be a doubt, like I doubt that this is going to be good for me. It's a fear, like, of everything else surrounding, you know what I'm saying, of everything else surrounding this fear of if you're good enough, do you know enough, do you, and instead of coming to it with open hands and an open heart, like, of course I don't know enough, I may never know enough, but that's not going to stop me from doing what I want to do. That's not going to stop me from enriching my life with the values of this. And so I feel like if you guys are thinking about taking on anything similar to this, any type of new spiritual practice, one, patience is everything. Two, sit silent, sit still. Especially in this moment, I feel like we are in an energy of manifestation. All we really have to do is call it into our space, and it's going to come to us. Hands down, it's going to come. That's why being silent, or being still more than anything, silent when listening, but still instead of being on the go, is very, very important. It's important to meditate, to think about your wants, your desires, and speak them verbally, even if it's to yourself. This is what I desire, universe. This is what I'm asking you for. Ancestors, help me with this. This is what I'm looking to bring in. Focus on that. Pray on it daily. Pray on it daily. Pray on it daily. I'm not telling you which form of prayer to use. You can use mantras. You can use, Christian prayers. You can use Catholic prayers. You can use Hinduism. Whatever you want to do. You can pray to the Orishas. You can pray to whoever you say your prayers to. But make it a consistent thing, and ask for their help, and ask for their guidance, and ask them to help you to bring this to you, and then sit and wait. Don't rush into something. Sit and wait, because it's gonna come to you, whether it just pops up on a Google search randomly. Somebody word of mouth is going to tell you, oh, I know somebody who did X, Y, and Z. Somebody's going to come into your energetic space with the energy that you are calling in. Understanding that it's already yours. You just have to match this is the vibrational frequency in that vortex, and this is the vibrational frequency in your vortex, and you guys just have to match. You have to match the energy in order for it to enter into your vibrational vortex. It's really just that simple. But being mindful, be patient, be still, be silent, listen, speak your intent. Listen to spirit when they guide you, when they move you, and most of all, listen to your gut. Love your gut. Love yourself. Understand that that's your second mind, which is probably more so your first mind. But more on that in a later video. But anyways, I just wanted to come and share that little bit of something with you guys. If anything, if it was anything, I don't know. Let it resonate with who it will. Again, leave me feedback if you'd like. I'm going to be doing more videos on the different aspects of hoodoo, as much as I feel is appropriate. So I may give you basic ingredients for basic things, but it's more going to be on an educational side of it. If you're just looking for a spell book and things like that, you can buy that. You can Google a spell. How effective it's going to be, I don't know. That's on you. But if you want something that's effective, it's learning the knowledge and the history behind it. And I think that's where I'm going to be focusing a lot of videos on. Some of them you may get some workings, some of them you may get basic workings, but this is what I am offering at this time. So if you have any questions, any feedback, you guys can always email me, holistically.attuned@gmail.com. My Instagram is holistically_attuned. My website, www.holisticallyattuned.com. Or again, you can comment under this video. So that is what I have for you on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.